Thank you very much for joining today. This is a recording that we are making for the Open Data Day for this year, 2022. And we have Emily Miley, who's a 311 program analyst. And I'm gonna ask some questions about the program with the idea to to let know people how that works inside, make it more transparent as well. Well, welcome, Emily. Thank you for joining.
Thanks.
Yeah, can you tell us about you a little bit before we start?
Yeah, so like Hector said, my name's Emily, she, her pronouns, and my job as it stands currently is the program analyst for the 311 program. And more specifically, my job is to stand up the data and analytics reporting for our program. And to start thinking about how to glean some insights from the customer service interaction that the city has.
Yeah, awesome. So about the 311 program, many people are familiar with that, but a lot of people are not. Can you tell us what the 311 program or 311 service is?
Yeah, so totally fair, because 311 is actually pretty new. So the goal and kind of the summary that I like to give is that everybody hopefully knows 911 as an emergency number to call. And the goal is that almost everything else comes to 311. And that's sort of what we're working towards. So 311 is actually a number that you can dial on your phone if you're in most of Multnomah County and the city of Portland. And I guess broadly, it's a program that's hoping to provide the best customer service in multiple different ways and allow Portlanders to have access to government information in a way that's accessible, easy to understand, and kind of helps people feel like they have a little bit of a better connection with their government in terms of information going both ways. We work for mostly the city and the Multnomah County, but we also work with a lot of other services like 211, TriMet, and we have a lot of information about, if we can't provide the actual service, we can at least get you to the people who can. Our hours right now are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and we have email and phone operations, as well as working with the portland.gov website creators to create some new web forms for the public.
Yeah, awesome. So, there are I know there is a lot of work invested behind 311, the 311 service and program. And the reason why you are here is because you have been working on this project for a long time, which I really appreciate that you are sharing all your expertise. So can you tell us how the 311 service works? For instance, if someone needs to let the city know about a campsite, so what happens inside the city on our side?
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, we are pretty new. So I'll probably focus a little bit more about what we're working towards, and we're in that process right now. The main goal is to kind of be this single point of centralized front door of the city. So if you wanted to report a campsite, our goal is that you're able to do it, online with a web form. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you can call us at 311, or you could email us at 311@portlandoregon.gov. And then the last option that we're working towards is actually web chat. So if you were to go on to portland.gov and you couldn't find what you were looking for, you would be able to live chat with one of our customer service agents. Once you've, so depending on kind of which front door you go through, all of those for the city of Portland facing side are going to look the same. So they're going to be filling out in one way or another a web form that's going to give some specific information about that report and where you're reporting the campsite, as well as some, service specific information. So is there a vehicle there? Because the city of Portland, it has so many different services, the 311's program's goal is to sort of find a way to get all of those services to talk to each other to produce the best customer service for the community. So depending on what is in that report, that gets routed to different services at the city. And hopefully in the long run, we can kind of give the community members some follow-up. So, at the end of the report, it might give some information about how to follow up and who to follow up with, what other things you could do. So you could contact an elected official if you wanted to kind of follow up on some policy questions. There's links to volunteering, links to learning more about what the city's doing. And so kind of giving, again, that community member a little bit more sense of I don't know what the word is, a little more control, I guess, over their report, as opposed to sort of sending it into the ether and crossing your fingers. So
at the end, is there just a quick follow-up? Is there a way that people can understand what happened to the request?
Yeah, so thank you. So yeah, as it stands right now, our hope is that we're working towards either like a dashboard or a map that would be available to the public that would allow people to kind of have a sense of what has been reported, when it was reported, and what, that service's particular plan is to getting to it. Yeah, and hopefully that would be updated pretty frequently, and it would allow community members at the very least to see where their report is in that sort of process of what the service has to do to resolve the issue.
Awesome. So in terms of the data, particularly open data, of course, but data in general, what kind of information gets collected when somebody uses the service, and how we use it inside the city?
Yeah, so the main data that we're actually reporting on and looking at right now is the location of the reports and some sort of broad types and details about the report. So, with the instance with the IRP and reporting a campsite, it's really helpful for them to understand sort of where things are being reported, where the mass group of reports are. It's also helpful to know we're not necessarily collecting information about, the person's name and their address and everything, but knowing if one person is reporting a bunch of different campsites versus if they're all individual users. So we are looking at information like that, of understanding, how do we kind of look at those two things as different, but also still trying to get towards resolution. So those are kind of the two main things that we're reporting on as it stands right now. There's other services, like PBOT, where if you're reporting an issue with a street or sidewalk, they want to know exactly what the issue is, and they're looking for that kind of frequently asked questions, like what are our top issues in this broader service? And so we'll be reporting on information like that. And we work with the service, the city service, to figure out what it is that they want to be reporting on. So some of that information is reported on. In addition to that, there are times when we will collect information like email, especially if the service partners or the city needs to get in contact with that person to, get more information about that report. And we have, information about the city's public record and confidentiality statements, and that are at the beginning of all the web forms. And all of our call takers will also inform community members before they've provided, possibly personal information, that some information could be subject to release under the city's public record. So we do like to kind of keep that transparency as best as we can without inhibiting people from wanting to make a report.
Yeah, that's really important. Well, thank you, Emily, for sharing all this expertise and experience. Again, I know that you have been working behind all these services and working with so many people, so many bureaus at the same time. I really want to appreciate that work. Just to conclude, where can people find more about the 311 program and all the services around that?
Yeah, so you can always go online and go to www.portland.gov/311/about. That kind of gives the most up-to-date information about our program, how to contact us, and sort of we give some quick information like a phone directory, and sort of where we're at in the process as well. Like I said, this has kind of been a long time coming before I came on at the city, and There's been a lot of iterations of the program as it stands, and so it kind of gives that background as well. You can also always call 311. Our call takers are hoping to provide the best customer service, and so they answer very quickly, in my opinion. And you can always chat with them about the program. And then you can also email us at 311@portlandoregon.gov.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.